The Volkswagen Golf ranks up there with the Toyota Corolla and Ford's F-Series as one of the top-selling nameplates of all time, but you probably see a lot more Corollas and F-150s dotting the American landscape. That's because the little Volkswagen has racked up most of its sales in Europe, the citizens of which appreciate the car's polish and sophistication, attributes that Americans have only recently started warming to in compact cars. A new Golf arrived for 2015, and VW is hoping it will make a real play at American customers more concerned with price and fuel economy than order-like solidity and comfort at triple-digit speeds. To make the 7th generation Golf more palatable to American and European consumers alike, Volkswagen stripped out some weight, replaced the previous model's standard 2.5-litre 5-cylinder lump with a fresh 4-cylinder turbo, and beefed up the hatchback's list of driver assistance features. Oh, and to keep costs down, VW is building North American Golf models in Mexico. The car's 10 Best Award this year proves that assimilation didn't require severance from what made it so great before. A 10 Best Award is reason enough to sign a car up for a long-term test, but this Golf evaluation is special. Recall how much of a mixed bag Volkswagen's similar American-centric play with the most recent Passat was. In addition to growing in size to meet Americans' idea of a mid-size sedan, the Passat was for the first time split from the European model, cheapened, and then assembled in Tennessee. Sales shot up but then plateaued. More worrisome is that our long-term 2013 Passat TDI test car suffered a variety of glitches and maladies familiar to owners of German luxury cars, problems that just won't do for mainstream buyers hooked on reliability surveys and the like. Will the new Golf be the same? We took delivery of an Automatis-equipped gasoline-fueled Golf 4 to find out. More doors, more sill, more automatic. The 2015 Golf lineup consists of 2 body styles, 2 and 4-door hatchbacks, 2 engines, a gas turbo 4 and a TDI diesel, and 2 transmission choices, a 5-speed manual and a 6-speed automatic. The Golf's trim level structure offers the choice of S with sunroof, say, and sill options on gas-powered models, while the diesel TDI offers the same lineup save for the S with sunroof. We settled on the 4-door sill with the gas turbocharged 1.8-litre TSI 4 and a 6-speed automatic. We'd prefer a manual, and we know from our experience with an entry-level model that the Golf stick shift is a good one. But most Americans will choose the turbo-automatic powertrain combination, and we dig nicely equipped cars, so that $27,815 was an easy choice. It's loaded with 18-inch wheels, navigation, automatic climate control, keyless entry with push-button ignition, a 12-way power driver's seat, heated front seats, ambient cabin lighting, a sunroof, rain-sensing windshield wipers, fog lights, a backup camera, and Fender audio. Our choices were limited to color. Tornado red is spicy, and it looks great on the angular Golf, and 2 packages, lighting $995 and driver assistance $695. We skipped the latter because we saw no need for parking sensors in a car as compact and easy to see out of as the Golf, but we grabbed the former for its adaptive Bixen headlights and distinctive LED running lamps. Light on fuel, big on praise. Early impressions have been positive, as you might expect. Pretty much every editor who has wrapped his or her hands around the Golf's padded, leather-wrapped steering wheel rim has come away impressed by the car's stiff structure, comfortable ride, and sure handling. The handling bit was confirmed at the track, where the Golf's inaugural skid pad run resulted in an excellent 0.88 grams. Our VW's other performance metrics weren't nearly as sparkling, with a 7.5-second sprint to 60 miles per hour and a so-so 173-foot stop from 70 miles per hour. However, they are consistent with a similar Golf TSI automatic we tested last year, which recorded a 7.7-second 0 to 60 time and an identical stopping distance. Like other Volkswagens, the Golf's brake pedal is somewhat soft and lacks bite through the first inch or two of its travel. It is the only dynamic trait we don't like. So far the hatchback has left the Greater Detroit area only once, for a quick trip to Chicago. Given that the Golf has racked up nearly all of its 5,600 plus miles locally on the streets and freeways around Car and Driver's Ann Arbor headquarters, its 27 miles per gallon fuel economy is both surprising and commendable. Our recorded efficiency beats the EPA's 25 miles per gallon city rating and nudges against the 29 miles per gallon combined figure. As Michigan's deep freeze thaws, you can bet the Golf will begin venturing farther afield, as staffers take advantage of its eminently practical 22.8 cubic foot cargo hold and serene highway demeanor. Longer trips will likely push our fuel economy figure even higher. What we like, inspiration, it seems, can come in all shapes and forms. Take, for example, the Volkswagen Golf satchel shape. It's pretty much a box with a nose grafted on to hold an engine. This continues to inspire staffers to take advantage of our long-term Golf's inherent utility, with the 22.8 cubic foot cargo bay seeing near constant use. Highway miles have slipped by with ease thanks to the Golf's supple ride quality. With the standard all-season tires swapped back on, we run winter tires on our long-termers in the colder months. The hatch has regained its Germanic sense of straight ahead at speed, tracking true without wandering. What we don't like, multiple logbook comments have grumbled about the way the Golf moves off from a stop. Some think it's the transmission, quick shuffling between the first couple of gears. First feels like it lasts half a second before the transmission upshifts into second gear with the car barely moving, while others blame the touch-eye-seeming throttle type-in. In the throes of Michigan's winter, some, just your author, wished for a way to defeat the Golf's traction and stability control systems to open the door for serious handbrake shenanigans on snowy roads, but VW disallows the manipulation of the traction control. What went wrong? Nothing. The Golf has been completely trouble-free through just over 13,000 miles of use. The only maintenance-related news pertains to the Golf's 10,000-mile service, which was performed free of charge and included an oil change, tire rotation, and a vehicle inspection. The dealer did perform a fuel rail recall update, fitting a new sealing cap to prevent fuel leakage into the engine bay, and a technical service bulletin dictated a transmission software update to cure possible harsh shifting. The TSI does not seem to have cured some of the Golf's more bizarre gear selections, and the transmission remains hesitant to downshift quickly, but we've noted fewer abrupt gear changes. Where we went, the Golf has seen quite a bit of out-of-state action in its tenure here at CD, visiting Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Illinois on separate trips. Those long journeys have helped raise our observed fuel economy a bit, to 28 miles per gallon, since our last check-in. What we like, the Volkswagen seats continue to earn praise, especially during two separate long-haul trips to Virginia from Michigan. Supportive and not restricting, the Golf's chairs keep butt numbness at bay and even do a decent job of holding the front occupants in place during spirited driving. In fact, the interior as a whole impresses daily, with nice materials and an understated, mature layout and design. It may not be visually stimulating, but we get the impression that the Golf's cabin will still look contemporary and handsome in 10 years. What we don't like, some mire has been thrown at the Golf's infotainment system, which has committed sins ranging from taking too long to wake up after thumbing the ignition to the occasional oddball navigation routing. Those quibbles aside, the Golf has made nothing but friends among the staff. What went wrong? The Golf is doing its best impression of bedrock. If it's eroding, the breakdown is happening at such a slow rate as to go unnoticed by us. Nothing has malfunctioned, broken off, or otherwise given us any trouble. In stark contrast to another current long-term hatchback of ours, the Mini Cooper S, when last we checked in with the VW, a dealer performed technical service bulletin fix, updating the transmission software, hadn't done much to mitigate some of the gearbox's less logical shifting choices. There continued to be complaints of at times clunky or mistimed shifts. Still, the transmission hasn't broken or ceased to function. It simply doesn't match the smoothness and impeccable manners of the best autoboxes out there. Our second service, at 20,000 miles, brought the Golf new oil, a new air filter, a new cabin filter, and a tire rotation for a steep $314.68. This outlay was offset somewhat by the free 10K service, but even so, that's a lot of dough for a simple service on a compact hatchback. The dealer also looked into a mild vibration we began experiencing at highway speeds, returning the verdict that all four wheels were bent. We'll be repairing the Golf's shoes soon. Where we went, since our last report, the Golf has twice traveled to Virginia, once for our annual lightning lap track test at Virginia International Raceway, another time for a vacation to Williamsburg. Outside of the Virginia love, the Golf has largely stayed near our headquarters in Michigan, traveling to the northern part of the state a few times for summer getaways and down into Ohio, too. What we like, the Golf's blend of fuel economy. We're getting 29 miles per gallon, maneuverability, highway stability and comfort, and voluminous cargo hold continue to garner universal praise. Were the world to fall into a dystopian hellscape in which every human being was required to choose only one new car that could never be replaced, the Golf would easily make our shortlist as long as that dystopia had VW mechanics. Whether it's threading itself into a Chicago street parking spot, quietly loping down the freeway, cupping our staffers with its comfortable seats, swallowing purchases from IKEA, or punching above its pay grade with its order-like interior quality, the Golf is among the best all-around vehicles available. We continue to be delighted by its attention to detail, including the rear wiper that automatically activates when reverse is selected if the windshield wipers are on, as well as the backup camera that hides behind the VW badge on the tailgate until needed. The badge tilts on cue to keep the lens clean. What we don't like, rooting around in the Golf's logbook for complaints is tiresome, but we tried and this is what we could come up with. The various LCD displays, which appear dated and low as when the car was new, today have even less of a shine to them. That is pretty much it, and it's a subjective feeling held by only a few staffers. The rest of us don't really care that the small gauge cluster display and the dashboard's touchscreen with their pixels loud and proud, both convey information clearly and with relatively little clutter. Otherwise, we've got nothing, save for, perhaps, wishes for a manual transmission. The Golf's 6-speed automatic standard on Russell test model is an exceptional but unobtrusive, while the 5-speed manual offered on lower-spec Golfs is more fun and a better partner for the turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. What went wrong? Okay, so we can think of one more complaint, an increase in problems for our Golf. It's not as bad as it sounds, given how the VW had been trouble-free through the first half of its 40,000 miles in our care, and the issues we've since experienced are few in number and almost entirely our fault. The first out-of-spec concern came at 23,507 miles, when a staffer noticed the driver's door felt loose, an issue remedied in our garage with a few twists of a wrench to tighten one hinge. This is an odd failure, since the door has never been taken off or been subject to other service to our knowledge, suggesting that either something went amiss in assembly or that the Golf's extremely wide opening front doors place added stress on the hinges. Later, just before the 30-mile service, the low coolant dashboard light illuminated, prompting an outlay of $20.78 for a gallon of brand coolant, of which we used less than half a quart. Strangely, when the dealer inspected the Golf for leaks, none were found. We're still searching for the lost coolant. The key fob has begun to suffer from what we'll call deflatitis, where its rubbery lock-and-lock buttons have collapsed into the fob from constant use. The buttons still work, but their sad state reduces the fob's tactility. We should point out that our recently departed long-term Porsche Cayman S's key suffered a similar fate. That key was replaced free of charge, something we'll be looking into with the Golf's key, doubly so given its finicky proximity sensing behavior. This became an issue just after the Golf went in for its 30,000 service pricey at $274, including $189 of labor for nothing more than an oil change, tire rotation, and inspections. The car began failing to register the key's proximity, intermittently, when we expected it to unlock the doors when we touched the door handle. Once, we even had to hold the key up next to the steering column so the car would start. The Golf's push-button ignition, like other cars, detects the key being inside the car to activate. Holding it near the dashboard shouldn't be necessary. We had no problems unlocking or starting the car using our backup key, so we assume a replacement will solve these fob issues. Another less serious problem seems to have fixed itself. The tire pressure monitoring system warning light came on in the gauge cluster, even though all 4 tires were holding acceptable air pressure, and stayed on for a few thousand miles. After a while, the light faded, as did concern over the tire's air-holding ability. Speaking of round things, a few of you might have been wondering, or not, about what happened to the Golf's 4 slightly bent wheels reported in our last update. We still haven't replaced them, largely because it's still winter in Michigan and we didn't want to bend a shiny new set of rims on the potholes before springtime road crews hopefully begin repairing our roads. Where we went, since our last update, this long-term Golf has traveled around Michigan, taken a trip to Chicago, and ventured to Massachusetts and back via New York State.